Hello, my name is John Reed, and I will be talking about a demonstration that I built for motor control solutions at the Power Systems Experience Center. This is my second summer interning here, and I'm really excited to talk about all of the work that I did for this demonstration and all of the things that I learned from wiring to setting up the networking and all the different motor control products that Eaton has to offer. Going from left to right, we're going to start with our most basic motor control solutions and then talk about the advanced motor control solutions and then the more intelligent solutions. So starting with this first configuration, and actually the first three configurations all have in common the Bussmann series fuses for motor protection. And we use these fuses because of their versatility and their highly assured current ratings. And then in addition to that, they also have 22mm illuminated push buttons for start and stop functionality, as well as a selector switch for reversing the direction of the motor on the third configuration. What's different between all of these configurations is the motor starter that they use. The first one uses a DP definite purpose motor starter with a C440 overload, and that could also be replaced with a bimetallic overload for a simpler solution. That's used in applications like HVAC. And then in the second configuration, we have the XT IEC contactor with a bimetallic overload, which is often used by machine builders for its small footprint and reliability. And then lastly, we have the XT IEC reversing contactors with an XTOE solid state electronic overload. The solid state electronic overload is good for detecting ground faults and single phase faults and can also be controlled remotely. Next, we have our more advanced motor control solutions, and what's common between these ones is the 22mm illuminated push buttons like the basic motor control, as well as the selector switch. And then in addition to that, we have an emergency stop or e-stop, which is used to more reliably stop the system in case of some sort of event. We also have FAZ miniature circuit breakers, which are very reliable for the system because they allow you to reset the system without having to change a fuse. And that's also very cost effective. Next, we have the motor starters for the more advanced motor control solutions. The first one uses Eaton's safety relay and Eaton's electronic motor starter. The electronic motor starter is more durable than the regular contactors and actually lasts up to 10 times longer. Next, we have the motor starter for the second advanced motor control solution, and this uses an XT IEC combination motor controller along with the XT IEC manual motor starter. And it's actually a solid state manual motor starter. And it's able to detect short branch circuit faults and other ground faults. Next, we're going to talk about our intelligent motor control solutions, which are shown in these three configurations here. First, they all have in common is the power defense motor case circuit breakers. On display is the PDG-1 in the first configuration and then the PDG-2 in the other two configurations. They feature an electronic trip unit, which is used to measure health status and performance data. In addition to that, each of these show Eaton's PS power supplies, which are used in applications like networking and things with PLCs because of their universal input voltages and the flexibility of the power supplies. In addition to that, we have the XV series operator interfaces. So here's the XV100 series on the first two configurations and then the XV300 series on the last configuration. Each of them come with an Ethernet module in the back and they have a touchscreen interface. The XV300 series actually has a graphics coprocessor and is used for more advanced things like SCADA, and then it also has more touchscreen capabilities like a speed reference where you can start and stop and then change the speed of the motor. The XV100 series we're using is just mostly for the start and stop and then switching directions of the motor. And then going into the differences between the configurations, starting with this first one, the motor starter used for this is the C445 motor management relay along with the XT IEC reversing contactors. And the motor management relay not only can detect ground faults and is used for circuit protection. But we also set it up with a system ground fault module and a CT ground fault module in order to simulate the ground fault situation. In the second configuration, we have Eaton's S811 soft starter along with Eaton's EZE4 Nano PLC. The S811 soft starter, we programmed to be able to ramp up and ramp down the speed of the motor, which is really good in water pumping applications. And then the EZE4 Nano comes with 12 inputs and outputs, which can actually be expanded to a network of 188 I/O points. And that's really good for things like lighting, energy management, pump applications, and HVAC. And then in the last configuration, we feature Eaton's PowerXL DM1 variable frequency drive, along with Eaton's safety relay and IEC safety contactor. So in combination with the PowerXL DM1 and the safety relay and contactor, we achieve a higher safety rating than we would if the PowerXL DM1 was used alone. And this actually comes with a lot of different features, including Bluetooth capabilities, where you can access all of the data and the power management that's used in the DM1. So this demo is paired with this HMI screen that contains all of the 8 configurations on the demo, and you can manually select each section and then go through within that section the circuit protection, the different power supplies, all of the starters and contactors and things like that on the left-hand side of the screen. And then if you go back to the top bar, you can select a different configuration on the screen. And this actually is also being done whenever you hit the buttons on the demo. So if I hit a start button for, say, the 4th section, it will switch to the EMS section right there. And then you can see all the different information about that section. All of this is also being mirrored on a TV screen above the demo. And how this works is actually inside this box, there is an XC303 modular PLC, and we've connected to that through either the I/O system using the XN300 cards that are attached to that, where the push buttons would be going towards, or through the touchscreens, the XV100 series or the XV300 series via Ethernet. And it communicates with this modular PLC, and whenever you select an input, it will switch the screen on here to whichever section that you were hitting the input on.